Let's talk about Liverpool then while we're waiting for a slot, and start with Guehi and this Guehi move that there's been a bit of confusion on, hasn't there, really, in the last few hours? Perhaps could he stay? Could he go? Is he actually in talks at the moment with Liverpool? Where do we stand right now then?
Well, one thing we know, Liverpool are still in talks with Crystal Palace to sign Marc Guéhi. They are the favourites to sign him if he's to go anywhere in this transfer window. Though there is still a chance he will stay at Crystal Palace and leave as a free agent next summer. There has been a gap in valuation. From the Palace perspective, they don't want to let their captain go on the cheap, though they are aware that they probably need to do something this summer, whether it's get him to sign a new contract, which seems unlikely, or there be a conclusion. That's one thing Steve Parrish said on Sunday. There needs to be a contract or a conclusion of some sort. A conclusion would be selling Marc Guéhi. But from the Liverpool perspective, they don't want to overpay for a player who they could sign for free next summer. Clearly, there'll be a lot of competition to sign Marc Guéhi as a free agent next summer. As for the player, he's happy at Crystal Palace. He loves being a Crystal Palace player, and he'll be happy to stay there this season. Crystal Palace are in Europe this season, and there is that World Cup taking place next summer. So the security of minutes at Crystal Palace could be something that he needs right now to ensure he is starting at the World Cup next summer.
Do you fork out 35 to 40 million pounds right now to get Guehi, or do you wait to the summer and try and get him on a free?
The danger is if you wait longer than 6 months, you are now in competition with a lot more other teams. Right now, for some reason, I don't know why, maybe there is some discussion, but I would imagine he is a sought-after defender. I think he's brilliant. I think he's so good, Guehi. I think of a lot of players that are kind of semi on, I guess, in line to move on from their club, he is at the top. For me, if I'm Liverpool, I go all out right now, get him, secure him. The problem with the player is you're going to think, okay, Konate is there, Van Dijk is going to play. Absolutely. Konate is there, very well liked, very, very well improved, much improved. But it is a World Cup year, and you go to Liverpool, that's a big, big move. And sometimes you've just got to secure it and bet on yourself. But for me, if Liverpool need to get him. If Liverpool are going to go to that next level, because the signings now have to take you to the next level, the Champions League targeting that, I think he's one that they should bring in.
And they want numbers, don't they, Liverpool? Because they've already signed in that position. They've just agreed a deal to sign the young centre-back Giovanni Leone. Just fill us in on the details and why he was so sought after.
Yeah, the deal is worth £26 million plus add-ons. He's been granted permission to travel to the UK and sign personal terms and have a medical. That medical is expected today. Now, this signing is seen as independent of the pursuit of Marc Guéhi. Liverpool want to sign both of these players in this transfer window.
We've got to talk about Alexander Isak as well, of course. Whenever we talk about Liverpool now, we talk about the Isak situation. Just as an ex-player, nothing's really changed in the last few days, apart from the fact that he has said he will never play for Newcastle again, which is quite a significant development.
Isak, likeable player, I think brilliant. And this last year, I think he's gone to right in that top category of world-class forwards. The situation, poorly handled. You could have had the discussions. For me, sometimes the best thing, and this is from experience also, you make mistakes, discussions, you say things in the heat of the moment within the club. There was no need to say that you'll not play for the club again. You can have the discussion with the manager, and when they're in the office, and being in the office lots of times with managers, you can have an honest discussion. It doesn't have to be a fallout. And I think the problem right now is it's been a fallout rather than a discussion.
Themes that you might be able to bring to him. First of all, Giovanni Leone, what can you tell us?
That the clubs have agreed a deal, but he hasn't signed for us yet. So the moment when he signs for us, I can go into more detail. And the other one is, of course, the answer you always get from me.
Alexander Isak is edging closer to a sensational move to Liverpool, with the Swedish striker reportedly prepared to submit a formal transfer request to force through the deal. The 25-year-old forward has made it clear behind the scenes that he no longer wishes to remain at Newcastle United, and his actions in recent weeks have only intensified speculation. Isak has reportedly refused to train with the first team, chosen to train separately, and has even moved out of his residence in Newcastle, fueling strong rumors that his time at St. James Park is coming to an end. Sources close to the player suggest that Liverpool is his preferred and only destination, as he sees the Merseyside Giants as a perfect fit for his playing style and ambition, especially under new manager Arne Slot. Liverpool, for their part, are fully aware of the player's desire to move and are preparing to make a second, massive offer worth £150 million after their initial bid. Reported to be around £110 million, was swiftly rejected by Newcastle. The Magpies remain firm in their stance, demanding the full valuation to even consider parting ways with their star striker, who was a standout performer in the 2024-25 season. Newcastle boss Eddie Howe has expressed frustration over the situation, admitting that he is currently unsure about Isak's future and that reintegration into the squad appears unlikely as things stand. Isak is reportedly frustrated with promises made by the Newcastle hierarchy last season, particularly regarding squad development and long-term project goals, which have failed to materialize. He believes his ambitions of competing at the highest level, especially in the Champions League, would be better fulfilled at Liverpool, who are building a dynamic, young team under Slot's leadership. His agent is said to be in close contact with Liverpool's representatives, and personal terms are not expected to be a stumbling block should the clubs agree on a transfer fee. If Liverpool does proceed with the anticipated £150 million bid, it would not only break their club transfer record but also mark one of the most expensive deals in Premier League history. The urgency from Liverpool's side has reportedly increased following the departure of Darwin Núñez and Luis Diaz. As it stands, the situation is evolving rapidly. Isak's intent is now public, Newcastle are under pressure, and Liverpool are ready to strike. All signs point toward a blockbuster move, one that could define the final stretch of this summer's transfer window. Ibrahima Konate could be on his way out of Liverpool this summer, with reports growing stronger that the French centre-back may leave Anfield amid mounting interest from Real Madrid. Now in the final year of his contract, Konate has yet to agree terms on a new deal, and sources suggest he is open to a transfer, particularly to the Spanish giants. While Liverpool are reportedly keen to extend his stay and have begun preparing a contract renewal offer, there's growing uncertainty around the player's commitment to a long-term future under new manager Arne Slot. According to multiple reports, Real Madrid are monitoring the situation closely and considering a late move before the transfer window closes. They view Konate as a viable long-term replacement for aging defenders and are reportedly preparing an offer in the region of £25 million, though that figure falls well short of Liverpool's internal valuation of around €50 million. Konate's possible departure is especially concerning for Liverpool given his age, quality, and the club's current defensive depth, which remains relatively thin following the exits of players like Joel Matip and amid uncertainty surrounding Joe Gomez. While Liverpool are not actively pushing him out, there is a growing belief within the club that they could cash in now rather than risk losing him on a free transfer in 2026, especially if he declines to sign an extension. As a result, Liverpool are already planning for a potential exit. The club has reportedly identified several defensive targets, including Marc Guéhi, and are considering accelerating negotiations with alternatives in the event Konate departs. Though no formal bid has been accepted, the situation is evolving rapidly, with Real Madrid expected to step up their efforts if they receive the green light from the player's camp. However, if the player is no longer fully committed, and if Madrid meet Liverpool's valuation, the Reds may feel compelled to let him go and reinvest the funds before the window shuts. For now, both clubs are watching closely, and Konate's decision in the coming weeks could be one of the defining stories of Liverpool's summer transfer window.